channel. My name is Valerie and I post videos, some vlogs with my family, some tips, a little bit of yoga. I'm going to add more and more yoga into this channel since my channel is called Valerication Family Yoga Lifestyle. And just a little bit of everything. So welcome. Please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications if you want to know. I usually post Monday and Fridays when I can. Sometimes it's Tuesday and Friday, but definitely at least try for 2 times a week. So this time around, my video is a little bit more serious in nature, but also explains why I'm on YouTube. And I think that YouTube is an unusual choice for me. I'm a writer, so I've been blogging for 15 years, but I haven't really done video logging, which is what vlogging is. So this is new to me. It's kind of a new medium. I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy the I just get distracted. My dog's dish of water is empty, and so they keep bumping it and like flipping it while I record. But anyway, I digress. So I enjoy the creative nature of working with the video and making it something that you will all enjoy. So anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of my background as far as any kind of vlogging through media. So the video nature is pretty new for me. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, the main purpose of this video and talking about what brought me to YouTube, was following the birth of my son. I experienced what I would say an uncomfortable degree of postpartum anxiety. And I think that we learn a lot and talk a lot about postpartum depression, but not necessarily postpartum anxiety. So many women know what the signs of postpartum depression are, but when they have signs and symptoms of postpartum anxiety, it's harder to identify. And it can be very uncomfortable, very disconcerting, and you could feel very isolated and strange. Not at all like yourself. So following Killian's birth, I had a period of about intensely 8 to 10 weeks of having postpartum anxiety. I had some anxiety in the months going into my labor and delivery as well, and my past 2 labor and deliveries had been traumatic. So going into this third one required a lot of meditation, a lot of yoga, and a lot of soul searching. So I went into it with a certain degree of anxiety. Like I said, I don't think that helped. Shortly after Killian's birth, I wrote down my symptoms. I'm going to go down my symptom checklist, and then I'm going to talk about what has helped me get to this point with my anxiety. I'm not going to say the anxiety is completely gone by any stretch of the measure. It may take a few more months for something like that, but it is much, much better. So my symptoms, first of all, I needed to keep my house clean. I was obsessed with the cleanliness of my home. My home, as you have seen from my vlogging, is not the cleanest or most organized. It's also not the most efficient. This house is old. We really need a new house. Hint, hint, Chris. And there's just a lot of parts that need to be organized in the best of times. So in the worst of times, it can get chaotic. I don't do well living in chaos. I like things structured and organized and systematic. So after having a baby, things are kind of more chaotic, and I became kind of obsessed with the house cleanliness, getting into arguments with my husband about it, obsessively cleaning the home, thinking about the cleanliness of the home, worried constantly about things like that. So that became kind of my focus. I was unable to relax in my home when I needed to rest the most. My house didn't feel clean to me, so I couldn't relax because it didn't feel clean. I would, like I said, obsessively clean that place. Even when Killian was napping or anytime, I would, need to clean. It would be like a compulsion. And so that was a big issue. Another big issue is that if I wasn't worrying about cleanliness in my home, I was worried about the safety of my son. I was worried about Killian's health. I was worried about his breathing at night and whether or not he was breathing. I would check him multiple times throughout the evening to check to see if he was breathing. I had him sleep right next to me so I could hear whether or not he was breathing. I was kind of obsessed with that as well, so that became more of an obsession. I also became obsessed with checking the door locks and making sure throughout the evening that the door was locked and that things felt safe for me. So that was really tough. It was cold. He was born in November, and I would go down in the cold and go outside even to check to see if things were locked. It just was crazy, but that's what something like this does. Worried that something was going to hurt my son. I didn't want anything around him. I was worried that just anything could hurt or harm him, and that was constantly on my mind. Worried about him being in water in the bathtub, worried about everything. So that, again, that became kind of an obsessive idea in my mind. And obviously, I also had disruptions in sleep. I had disruptions in sleep because I was waking up with Killian, who was waking up every couple of hours, but those disruptions often would lead to obsessive thoughts, which would lead to compulsive action. So, I could be nursing him and thinking about the fact that I didn't check the door before I went to sleep, and then after he nursed, I would go down and check the door. And maybe once, maybe twice before I could go back and relax. So those kind of extended disruptions in my sleep, which was really disconcerting. So I'm going to talk now a little bit about what helped me. So one of the areas that really helped me was at my 6-week checkup. I did speak with my doctor and let her know, actually was with my midwife, and let her know what my symptoms were. She said they sounded somewhat unusual, and that, I could go on a low-dose medication if I felt that was necessary, or that I could, seek some counseling to get through it. At that time, I was thinking I probably needed counseling. I didn't want any medications. I don't take them when I'm pregnant or any time. I certainly wasn't going to take them while I was breastfeeding. It just isn't for me. It's not my option. So the discussion, however, was good because I really hadn't talked to my husband about it. I was just harping on him about things, but I wasn't really getting into a discussion with him about how I was thinking and feeling throughout the day. And there's certainly a high degree of isolation that you feel during this time when you have this kind of anxiety. You feel kind of out of it, and you feel lonely, and you feel lost. So talking to my doctor at least started the conversations. Sleep, food, and exercise became really important. So I really made myself sleep. That was important to me to feel better. Eating made me feel better too, because I wasn't eating that well after my son was born. It just wasn't a priority for me because I was trying to, I guess, get accustomed to having another baby again. And then exercise became really important to me. By exercise, my yoga practice became extremely important once again to center and ground me. And walking and some light exercise really did help. Getting out of the house every day, no matter what it was, even just to go walk around a store, was essential for me to feel better. Being in a house that I felt was unclean and made me nervous didn't help my anxiety. So being out, I didn't have that sensation. So it was just so nice to just get out of the house each day, to go for a walk, go to the store, go to the bank, anything, go to my chiropractor, anything helped. Another thing is too, I decided to get some kind of help. And when I say to get help, I decided to get a cleaning team to come in and clean my house. I hired a team. They come in once every other week. They still come in and they clean the house top to bottom. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to fit it in. I know it's being done. Just the fact that I know they come in and they do that cleaning helped tremendously, because now I'm just picking up, taking care of laundry, and taking care of the stuff on the, how I see it, like on the edges. But the nitty-gritty stuff they take care of. I know they're taking care of it, and I know it's clean because I trust them. So it helped me make a huge leap when it came to the cleanliness of the home, and it still helps now when I start to feel like weirded out by things at home not feeling organized or clean enough for me. I really felt like getting rest was really important. Finding some things I could do for myself, going back to yoga was a really big thing because it brought me back into a community that I love so much, and into my practice, which is just a part of my soul and a part of my being. Meditating has continued to be very important to me on my journey of finding myself in all of this, and carving out myself after being pregnant, giving birth, and giving so much of myself to all of my children, but to my baby, that just time to myself has been extremely important too, and meditation and everything has been really important to my health. I did buy a workbook on postpartum anxiety, and I will link that below. I didn't bring the book down to do this. I should have, so you could see what it looked like. But this book, and I don't even remember the name of it because, like, right now, guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but right now I'm looking out the window, and I'm seeing a cardinal. And a cardinal is my spirit animal, and so I'm so happy I'm recording while I see the cardinal. It just reminds me that this is what I should be doing. I'm so happy. That was a real beautiful blessing. But anyway, so this workbook really helped me because I went chapter by chapter and I read the book and I started doing the exercises, and writing everything down and journaling absolutely 100% helped me feel normal, good, made me kind of realize what some of the problems and the disconnect cognitively for me. So I was really able to realize, like, okay, this is not what's happening. I'm thinking it's happening, but it's not, and it was really helpful to me. I didn't go through the whole workbook. I didn't have to. I went through a piece of the notebook, the workbook. So, and honestly, you know, time was a big one. Just time going by has helped. My hormones are starting to balance out. I'm on the mini pill, which helps to kind of like, and now to kind of get my hormones back into check. My period came back. I just feel like it's just kind of the hormone fluctuating kind of stopped. So time absolutely helps. And going back to work helped too, because it gave me something to do outside of the house, separate from everything else going on. And as much as I miss being with my baby, and as hard as it was to make that transition, it was something that I really needed to do for myself. One of the biggest things that helped me and made my transition to starting my own channel were the YouTubers that I started watching. I had started watching some YouTubers when I was pregnant with my son, just to make sure that everything was pretty normal, and just got interested in a couple of really great YouTubers that vlog so well and capture life so wonderfully. And I ended up loving watching their videos, and I would spend my time when I felt down, when I felt worried, when it was like the best distraction in the world, and their advice helped me. I was able to go on YouTube and search for people who also had problems with anxiety, postpartum anxiety, know that I wasn't the only one, and it was a huge help for me. And watching these people inspired me to start my own channel, as I knew there were so many ways that I could help other people and information I could share, even if it was just sharing my daily life and saying, hey, this is what I do, or sharing elements of my yoga practice, or sharing, and that's coming up in some series on writing, my writing process, or anything that I think that I could share that I have knowledge. I'm 40 years old. I'm not super old, obviously, but I'm not a spring chicken, and I have so much to knowledge and experience to share with others. Acknowledging that, knowing I have this and I can provide this for people, was a huge eye-opener to me. And one of the things I love so much about yoga is I see it as a way that I can help others. And so one of the things I absolutely love about YouTube and about my channel is that I can help other people in times where they need it the most. And YouTubers out there, I'll drop some names like Aaryn Williams, Emily Norris, and like Zoey Arielle. All of these YouTubers were such a big part of me feeling normal when I had postpartum anxiety, and were such a big part of just me getting through that time, that I'm hoping I can be that for other people. So I am going to link some stuff down below. I'll link those channels I mentioned. I will link some information on postpartum anxiety for those who would like to get some more information on that, if you're pregnant or if you're experiencing postpartum anxiety. Obviously, I am not a doctor or anything, and I cannot give you any kind of like actual medical advice, so definitely seek medical advice should you really need it. But I just want to share my story with it. I also want to share my symptoms and share what helped me through that time. And so I really hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments if you have anything you want to say about this, or if you have comments on, if you're a YouTuber, why you started, or if you have concerns about, postpartum stuff or whatever. It would be great to start a conversation. So I think these things really can't and shouldn't be swept under the rug. They're difficult conversations to have, but they're ones that are so important for all of us to actively engage in. So thank you so much for visiting my channel. I am so happy you were here, and I look forward to every video that I record for you, and I really hope you enjoy this channel. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, and namaste.